You never know when a single moment can change your life forever," the narrator says softly, as the camera pans across a glowing wedding hall. For Alina, it started with a borrowed camera, a borrowed jailbroken bar, and a man who'd forgotten how to smile. Alina never wanted to be here. The lights, the chatter, the laughter, they all felt too much for her quiet world. She was only standing behind that wedding photography booth because her cousin, Nida, had caught a terrible flu that morning. "Please, Alina," Nida had begged over the phone, her voice weak, "just handle this one event for me. It's a simple wedding shoot. You just need to click some pictures. I'll guide you through everything." Alina wasn't a photographer, not professionally, anyway. She loved taking pictures of flowers, of sunsets, of her little neighborhood bakery, but she'd never covered a real event before. Still, she couldn't say a number. Her cousin's business was struggling, and this wedding gig meant money they both desperately needed. So here she was, wearing a pastel dress, camera strap around her neck, pretending she belonged among the professionals. Her eyes kept darting nervously as guests walked past, dressed in silks and laughter. Then she saw him. Across the hall, near the dessert table, stood a man with a calm, distant expression, tall, sharply dressed, and holding a little girl's hand. The girl, maybe 6 or 7, wore a lilac dress and 2 neat braids. She looked at everything with wide, curious eyes, tugging at her father's sleeve every few seconds. Alina couldn't help noticing how the man's smile never quite reached his eyes. There was something heavy about him, something that made him stand out even in the joyful chaos of the wedding. "Excuse me, miss, could you take a photo of us?" someone asked, snapping her back to reality. She nodded quickly, fumbling with the camera, but when she lifted it again, her gaze accidentally met his across the room. For a moment, she forgot to breathe. He didn't look away. The man's name was Zayan Malik, a 35-year-old CEO of a tech company, known in business circles for his brilliance and in social circles for his silence. 3 years ago, he'd lost his wife in a car accident. Since then, he'd thrown himself into work, becoming a ghost behind corporate glass walls. The only thing keeping him human was his daughter, Hannah, who often begged him to smile, to play, to just be happy again. Tonight, he was here only because his younger brother was getting married. Family obligations, he told himself, nothing more. But when he saw Alina, that soft, nervous girl behind the lens, smiling awkwardly at the guests, something stirred inside him. She wasn't like the polished women who usually crossed his path. There was an innocence in her movements, a warmth in her shy eyes. When she bent down to take Hannah's photo later that evening, making silly faces to make the little girl laugh, he found himself smiling for the first time in months. "Can I take one of you and your dad together?" Alina asked gently. Hannah grinned. "Yes, but only if you make him smile too." Zayan raised an eyebrow, amused. "That might be a tough job." "Oh, I can try," Alina said, lifting her camera with a teasing smile. "Say cheesy broken bar, or maybe say hope." Zayan's lips curved, just slightly, but enough to light up his whole face. The camera clicked. Flash. The moment froze in her lens, but something else unfroze in his heart. After that, fate kept pulling them together. Hannah insisted on showing Alina the garden lights. Then the bride's mother asked Alina to take a few extra family photos, and of course, Zayan was in them. By the time the night ended, Hannah was holding Alina's hand as if they'd known each other forever. Before leaving, Zayan thanked her. "You made her very happy tonight," he said quietly. "She's a wonderful kid," Alina replied. "You must be proud." "I am," he said, and for the first time in a long while, he meant it. They exchanged polite smiles and went their separate ways, or so they thought. A week later, Alina received a call. "Miss Alina, this is Zayan Malik. You took our photos at the wedding." Her heart skipped. "Oh, yes, I remember. Did something go wrong?" "Quite the opposite," he said. "The photos were a broken bar beautiful. I wanted to thank you personally, and actually, I'm organizing a small charity event for children. We could use someone like you to capture the moment. If you're interested." It wasn't just a job offer. It was a door quietly opening into his guarded world. At the charity event, she saw a different side of him, caring, patient, quietly devoted to helping others. Hannah ran around, laughing, and Alina couldn't resist joining her. They painted together, took selfies, and built paper crowns. Zayan watched them from afar, feeling something melt inside him, something he thought he'd buried with his past. After the event, they walked together to the parking lot. The air was cool, the street lamps casting long shadows. "You have a gift," Zayan said softly. "You see beauty where others see routine." "And you," she replied, "hide your heart behind a wall too high for most to climb." He looked at her, startled, but her tone wasn't judgmental. It was kind, honest, and for the first time, he didn't want to hide anymore. But love stories never come easy. When Zayan's board members learned he was spending time with a freelance photographer, rumors spread. Some said she was after his money, others mocked his emotional weakness. Alina overheard one of those conversations during a corporate event, and it broke her. That night, she messaged him, "Thank you for everything, Zayan, but I think our worlds are too different." She left her camera at his office, along with the printed photo of the one she'd taken of him and Hannah smiling together. Weeks passed. Zayan tried to focus on work, but every time he looked at that photo on his desk, he realized what he'd lost, not just love, but a piece of peace he'd finally found. Then one afternoon, Hannah walked into his office with her usual determination. "Dad," she said firmly, "you need to go get her." "Hannah." "No," she interrupted. "You said she made you smile." "She made me smile too. If someone makes us both happy, that means she's family." Out of the mouths of children comes truth. A few hours later, there was a knock at Alina's door. She opened it, shocked to see Zayan standing there, flowers in hand, Hannah holding his other hand tightly. "I realized something," Zayan said, his voice thick with emotion. "You don't belong in my world. Alina, you are my world, and I don't want to live in it without you." Tears welled up in her eyes as Hannah rushed forward to hug her. "Please say yes," the little girl whispered. Alina smiled through her tears. "I thought I was just replacing someone for a day, but maybe broken bar I was exactly where I was meant to be."